Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Launched in 2002, this is the watch I describe to many collectors who ask as the ultimate one-watch collection or the only fine watch you'll ever need in your life. A diver and an alarm on a full bracelet. This is the stainless steel Jaeger-LeCoultre Master Compressor Memovox. Modern day descendant of the Polaris diving alarm. It is 41.5 millimeters in steel by 15.1 millimeters thick by 54.2 millimeters end link to end link. And if you just take the case, that is if you were to remove the bracelet and put it on a strap, it would be 49.9 millimeters lug to lug with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This watch can do it all. Let's throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference, and the watch wears well. I've owned this case size and case design on my Grand Memovox. That was an alarm with a perpetual calendar, but this in steel with alarm and diving bezel fits exactly the same. It's a full-sized watch, but not an oversized watch, and it will fit underneath a formal cuff. You can see down the barrel, it's not excessively broad across the wrist and then over the top. Let's take a look at the hardware and the software. JLC's modern sports watch bracelet debuted back in 1998 with the Reverso Grand Sport. It was a fantastic bracelet then, it remains one today. Here you can see that it is a 5-link design with the intermediates satinated on their tops but polished on their edges and their flanks. The primary links outboard are polished as well as on their shoulders. You have pin sleeves fixing them together, so you'll need a block and a punch if you want to size this bracelet. Plenty of clearance on the underside to avoid pinching skin, pulling hair, or trapping wrist heat. And then we have a double deploying clasp with not one, not two, not three, but 4 separate triggers. So you really have to squeeze all 4 to open this clasp for security. On each side, you have a 2.5 millimeter micro adjustment that's built in that allows you to add or remove a total of 5 millimeters of adjustable length, and you can do this tool-free. It works like the Rolex EasyLink system, so 5 millimeters of adjustment in 2.5 millimeter increments. The case is simple but strong with sheer sides, all of high polish. There's a little bit of a bevel along the flanks of the lugs. The lugs are tall, but they're not wide, and then we rotate around and you can see the compressor crowns. They are winglet-style 1/2 turn locking mechanisms. This is a 100-meter watch. Red, you're dead. White, you're tight, very easy to see, color-coded. There's no threading the stem through the seal, so you don't wear out the seal. You merely compress and release the seal. You never thread a stem through it. Also, it's easy to use these winglets when your hands are wet, sweaty, or gloved. So unlike a conventional screw-down crown, which can be difficult to manipulate when your hands might be wet or gloved, these are quite easy to operate. You can see the bezel is a conical profile. It's stepped somewhat in from the case band to make the watch appear a little bit thinner. It has a small vertical segment, then it gives way to the conical segment. There is a crown over at 10 o'clock, which operates the internal rotating bezel, much like the super compressor cased Polaris. This watch has an internal rotating dive bezel that you can line up with the minute hand, and so it has an internal timing instrument, so you don't really need a chronograph when you have this. The dial is a lacquered black, and as you can see, it features alpha style hands at center, and then there is a scale for reading the set time of the alarm, and I'm just gonna set this here to 5 o'clock, and there's a little index adjacent. You also wind with this crown, and then there is a second crown that allows you to operate the movement. Hacking seconds, take note there. Unlike previous generations of JLC Memovox, this one has a hanging internal gong, so it doesn't have a mute, flat tone to it. It doesn't sound like a rattle. It has a lovely ringing sustain, and it is loud enough to wake you up. On the reverse side, a solid rose gold medallion, testifying that this watch has been through the Master 1000 Hours Control, one of the few in-house chronometry tests that also includes durability, water resistance, winding efficiency, power reserve, shock tolerance, a full test of the assembled watch, not the bare movement. It was introduced in 1992 and then spread across the JLC line. It's a big deal, and unlike the 2-week COSC test, this one lasts 1,000 hours. Caliber 918. Automatic winding, bidirectional winding, stop seconds, 28.8 beat rate, alarm system, 45-hour power reserve, 5-position adjusted, and it is a vocal alarm. It has a semi-quick set date system whereby you back the hour hand through midnight in a seesaw pattern to quick set the date. So it is a movement that debuted back in 1969 and has been refined ever since. It's a timepiece that is tough internally, handsome externally, very, very versatile as your dress watch and your sports watch alike, with that internal timing bezel and the alarm, which I think is the most practical of all complications for convenience, as we are always tasked, scheduled, and running against deadlines. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this master compressor Memovox. Here it is at night. You can easily see that the index shape as well as the font for the numerals borrowed from the 1968 version of the Polaris diving alarm.